Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. I'd like you to think of today's yoga class as an anti-anxiety elixir that's there to help you ease your worries and lessen your load. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify if you need to, and feel comfortable to rest if and when need be. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class, standing more or less in the middle of the mat, facing the top end. You're just going to find a comfortable summer seating with your feet maybe hip width distance apart, maybe a little bit wider, all 10 toes looking to the front of the mat. You're going to stand up nice and tall, finding a sense of grounding through the feet and a lengthening through the spine. You're going to stack the hands one on top of the other, with your elbow points nice and high, more or less in line with your shoulders. Maybe you'd like to hold on to the forearm of each arm. You're going to take a big breath in, and as you inhale, you're going to float your hands overhead, almost thinking of wrapping your ears on either side with your arms. And then on the exhale, you're going to bring your hands back down in line with your shoulders. You're going to do that 4 or 5 times. Inhaling for a long count as you float the hands overhead, reaching long through your elbow points, and then exhaling to float the arms back down to your start position. Let's do that one more time, breathing nice and deeply and expanding the ribs on the inhale. And then allowing the ribs to fall back in towards the diaphragm as you bring your hands back to your start position. Then take a big breath in, and on an exhale, you're going to twist or pivot to the left. You're going to bend the right leg, and you're going to hold, reaching long through both sets of elbows, and almost think of trying to tap the wall behind you with your left elbow. Inhale to come back to center, and then exhale to repeat to the right. Inhale to bring your whole frame back to center, and on an exhale, you're going to fold forward, coming through the tabletop line, making your elbow points heavy to the floor, hanging here for a second, maybe gently rocking back and forth between the balls and the heels of your feet. And then maybe playing ragdoll style, bending one knee at a time and twisting softly in the opposite direction as you hang. Then bring yourself softly back to center, peel back up to the tabletop line, and stack the hands behind your back, finding a nice tabletop line and resting the forearms on your back while holding softly onto the forearm of the opposite arm with your hands. Stay here for a bit, looking for length through the spine, trying to keep the weight distribution equal on the balls and the heels of your feet. And if this feels good and you're feeling really tight through the shoulders and you want to get a little release, maybe bring your hands to a little fist or to Jupiter Mudra by interlacing your fingers, bringing your index fingers together and crossing your thumbs, and reach long through your index fingers or your knuckles if you're fisted, as if you wanted to tap the wall behind you. Pause here, looking for length through the spine. Enjoy the stretch. When you're ready to come out, you're going to ease your way from here into a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Make sure your hands are stacking underneath your shoulders with your knees underneath your hip points, and we're going to play in cat-cow. Take a big breath in to prepare, hollowing out your back, taking your chin and your bum bones to the ceiling. And then on an exhale, come through neutral spine, dropping your chin to your chest, stretching into the shoulders and the lower back. And then begin oscillating dynamically between the two frames. If your practice is more advanced, as you exhale, pull up the pelvic floor, the Mula Bandha, squeeze in the diaphragm, the Uddiyana Bandha, and apply the chin lock, the Jalandhara Bandha. When you're ready to come out, reverse the cycle. Release first the chin, then the diaphragm, then the pelvic floor lock. So playing at a 1 to 2 inhalation to exhalation ratio today. Make sure that you're not rocking your frame back or forth. So try to hold your frame steady, just playing with the shape of your back and using your breath to help you achieve that release. Then ease your way into a neutral tabletop line, somewhere between your cat and your cow. Try not to drop your head. Keep your gaze down on the mat, just between your two thumbs. Push the mat away and try to achieve a long line through your neck and the spine. Keep that sense of length through the spine as you take a big breath in. Then on an exhale, nod your chin towards your chest, pause there, and use the tip of your chin to trace a pattern towards your left shoulder. Pause here, almost thinking of looking over your left shoulder. Inhale to bring your chin back towards your chest, and exhale to trace a pattern towards your right shoulder. Keep pushing the mat strongly away with your hands. Inhale to come back to center, and then look once more for that length through your neck as you bring your gaze between the two hands, maybe just in front of your fingertip line this time. Keep that sense of length through the spine as you extend the right arm and the left leg. At first, I'd like you to just find a long line through the arm, the neck, the back, and the leg. Fingertips and toes are pointed. Then take a big breath in, and on an exhale, brace into your foot and push into the heel of your hand. Then look for that sense of softening once more and bring the two limbs down to the mat to repeat on the other side. Left arm, right leg coming into extension. At first, a nice soft toe and fingertip line. Then on an exhale, brace into your foot and push into the palm of your hand. Then look once more for that sense of softening as you lengthen through the fingertips and the toes. Find your way to 4-point kneeling and push back into child, but keep the feet soft and relaxed and parallel, arms long and extended on the mat in front of you as you drop your bum towards your heels and take a little stretch. Remember that child pose is here whenever you need to take a little time out on the mat. From child pose, come through 4-point kneeling and find a modified kneeling up dog, bumping your hips forward through the 4-point kneel, but don't collapse towards the floor. Push strongly away, strong through the lower belly and the arms. Push back into child. Big breath in, come through 4-point kneeling, find your kneeling up dog. Exhale to push back in child. The next time you think of coming into your up dog, I'd like you to step the right leg out to the outside of the right hand. Splay your foot softly out at 45, and then take a sweeping arm reach with the right arm and reach for the sky. Pause here, just enjoying the stretch, making sure that front foot is slightly splayed out at 45. Then ease your way softly back into child pose, feet soft and relaxed and parallel behind you. Maybe tapping your third eye to the mat, that little spot between your eyebrows. Inhale to come through 4-point kneeling and find your kneeling up dog, almost trying to stretch into the lower belly, nice and strong through the arms. Exhale to push back in child. And if you're feeling any tension in the arms, you can maybe just relax your elbow points and your wrists when you're in child. Then come through your 4-point kneel. Find your kneeling up dog. Exhale to push back in child. Take a moment here to just relish the quiet, and then we'll find our lizard line on the left. So the next time you come through 4-point kneeling, take a little step out with the left leg to the outside of the left hand. Maybe splay the foot softly out, and then take a big sweeping reach with the left arm for the ceiling. Ease your way back to child pose. Feet soft and relaxed and parallel behind you. Inhale to find your kneeling up dog as you bump your hips through the 4-point kneeling frame. Exhale to push back in child. Inhale to come through 4-point kneeling and find your kneeling up dog. Strong through those shoulders. Drop them away from your ears. Exhale to push back in child. Take a moment here, maybe soften through your elbow points and your wrists. From here, we're going to set up a deep squat. So the next time you come through your 4-point kneeling frame, you're going to step wide on the right, step wide on the left, and try to place your right hand on the inside of your right leg, pushing with the right arm as you take a sweeping stretch to the left. So front view, you're in the deep squat line, your hand is on the inside of your foot, you're pushing with the back of your arm against the leg, and you're opening up into a little reach. Ease your way from here back into child pose. Place both hands on the mat. Step your legs back one at a time. Make sure those feet are soft and relaxed and parallel. If you're feeling too much tension in the arms, just drape your elbow points, your forearms and your palms softly on the mat. Then inhale to come through 4-point kneeling. Find your kneeling up dog. Take a little stretch. Exhale to push back in child. Inhale to come through 4-point kneeling and find your kneeling up dog. Exhale to push back in child. We're going to come into that little squat line the next time. So as you come through 4-point kneeling, step wide with the left foot on the outside of the left arm. Replicate on the right. Place your left arm flush against the inside of the left leg and take a sweeping opening through the right arm. Pause here, actively pushing with the left arm on the inside of the left leg. Then ease your way from here back into child pose. Legs soft and relaxed and parallel, arms softly draped on the mat in front of you. Weight of your temple gently pressing into that third eye, your Anya chakra, that little spot between the two eyebrows. Ease your way back into a 4-point kneeling frame, and let's work a modified chaturanga to come down onto the belly. Bend through the elbows, try to hug them in towards your ribs, maybe hovering your chin off the floor for a second. Then drag the weight forward, sliding your arms out in front of you so that you come into Sphinx pose with your elbow points more or less underneath your shoulders. You can either give me flat hands on the mat, or you could even give me a fisted line with your thumbs looking up to the ceiling. Play where you're comfortable. You're going to take a big breath in, making sure you're not collapsing, so you're pushing actively off those elbow points. You're going to think of nodding a slow yes, dropping your chin towards your chest, easing the tension from the nape of your neck, and then thinking of gently looking up towards the sky. Using that slow S pattern, for maybe 2 or 3 repetitions, just to ease any tension out of the neck. Then bring your chin line back to neutral and think of nodding a slow no. So you're moving shoulder to shoulder with the ear in a slow, almost lazy fashion. Then bring your chin line back to neutral and find your way all the way onto the belly, opening up your arms into a little T frame on the mat. Hands more or less in line with your shoulders, with your forehead softly connected to the mat. We're going to play with a little shoulder opening sequence. Take a big breath in and then bend the left elbow, place the palm alongside your bosom, push off the hand and rotate onto your right shoulder, knife edging both feet and maybe just looking up towards the ceiling. Inhale to peel back. Let's do the same on the right. Bend the right arm, place the palm alongside your chest. Push off the palm, rotate onto your left shoulder and knife edge both of your feet. Inhale to float back. Let's come back to side one and we'll add to it. Bend your left arm, place the palm alongside your chest. Push off that palm, rotate onto your right shoulder, maybe this time stacking one leg on top of the other. Looking up towards the ceiling. Float softly back down. Bend the right arm, place the palm alongside your chest, push off the right arm, rotate onto your left shoulder, knife edge, and then stack your feet. Looking up towards the ceiling, quite an intense stretch into your grounding shoulder. Lead your way back to your start position. Let's add. Bend the left arm, place the hand alongside your chest. Push off the hand, rotate onto your right shoulder, knife edge in your feet. Then stacking. If you can, tap the foot, top foot, behind your grounding foot. Peel your way back. Bend the right arm, place the palm alongside your bosom. Push off the palm. Knife edge, then stack, then tap behind. Lead your way softly back to your starting frame on the mat. Bend the left arm, place the palm alongside your chest. Push off the left palm, rotate onto the right shoulder. Knife edge, stack, tap behind or bend that foot and see if you can ground the whole foot behind your extended leg. Looking softly up towards the ceiling if you can. Grounding through that right shoulder. Float your way softly back to your start position, taking a recovery breath or two. Then bend the right arm, place the palm alongside your bosom, push off the right palm, rotate onto the left shoulder, knife edge your feet, and stack them, tap behind, or bend that top leg, bracing the whole foot into the mat and placing it behind your extended leg. Lead your way back, one last iteration. Bend the left arm, place the palm alongside your chest. Push off that arm, rotate onto the right shoulder, knife edge your feet, then stack, then tap behind, then bend and ground. If you can, bend both legs, push off both feet and just hold the stretch here. And think of retracing your path back to your start position with both arms T-framed into the mat. Take a recovery breath or two. And then let's do the same on the right. Bend the right arm, place the palm alongside your chest. Push off the right palm, rotate onto your left shoulder, knife edge your feet, then stack them, then tap behind, maybe bending the top leg and grounding through the foot, and then trying to bend and ground the other foot as well, and holding that intense stretch into the shoulder blades. Lead your way gently back to your start position, forehead connected to the mat, and just give yourself a gentle recovery breath or two. We're going to find our way from here into a cobra line. When you're ready, bend both elbows and place the palms alongside your chest with your fingertips maybe just in front of your shoulder line. Keep squeezing the elbows in towards your rib cage. Pretend you've got a little marble underneath your nose. Start rolling the marble away from you towards the front of the mat and slowly articulate up one rib at a time, stopping when you come to a baby cobra with your bottom ribs still connected to the mat. Keep squeezing those elbows in and maybe push softly off your palms and try to grow from your mid back towards the nape of your neck. Stay here or come into a full cobra, extending through the arms, and then maybe transition into an up dog, pushing your whole body off the mat so that you're only resting on the tops of your feet and the palms of your hands. Find your way into a down dog frame, tucking the toes under, planking your bum up to the ceiling nice and high. Enjoying a glorious stretch into the arms and the legs. We'll set up a little pigeon line on the right from here. Think of gently kicking up into a three-legged dog on the right, and then bend the right knee as you think of bringing the knee in towards your hip. Rotate the foot in, either lining up the knee and the ankle or tucking in closer to your perineum as you relax both legs to the mat. Then slide, walk, or creep your back leg away. Wiggle around and even out through the shoulders and the hips. And then gently just drop down onto your elbows. Think of that Sphinx spine that we played with earlier on. If this feels good, you can perhaps fully extend the arms, resting on your third eye and taking a little chill time on the mat. Try to keep as even as you can through the shoulders and the hips. If you find that your frame is collapsing on the side of your lead leg, you can maybe just prop a block underneath that bum cheek. Take a few gentle breaths here. And then ready, walk back up. Find your way onto the palms. If you do have a block underneath your right bum cheek, feed that block out. You're going to sink all of the weight into your right bum bone, grounding into the mat. Swing the back leg in front of you, extending the left leg and reaching for the corner of the mat. Take the sole of your right foot and place it on the inseam of the left leg. You're just going to give me a soft forward fold, maybe placing your fingertips or your palms gently on the mat, or if you do have a block, you could maybe place the block on the inside of your leg. Find a comfortable stack position for your forearms and just lean forward, or you could use the block or a strap to grab around your foot, pull in with the block, resist with the foot, or if you want to play freestyle, maybe you could reach your hands for the underside of your foot and just gently fold forward. Don't overthink the stretch, just try to soften your chest towards the top of your thigh as you find Janusasana, head to knee. Take a couple of gentle breaths here, breathing as deeply as you can into the back and the sides of your ribs. And then peel up and either tuck into easy sit, stacking the left leg in front of the right, or if you've got the range of motion, you're going to come into a half lotus line by reaching your left foot, your front foot, and tucking the left heel as close to the inside of the right hip bone as you can, resting the whole foot on the top of your right thigh and sitting up in a half lotus line. Sit up nice and tall, and then maybe take your left hand, place it on the inside of the left knee, and just dynamically start pushing and then releasing that knee. So think of pushing the knee towards the floor and then just allow it to come back. Maybe slightly rotating on your right arm to peek over the right shoulder towards the back end of the mat. Then come back to stillness along the midline of the body and place your fingertips gently on the floor. You're going to rock your weight forward onto both knees and then back, almost finding a little rocking motion, rocking onto your knees and back. You're going to get quite an intense stretch into that top foot if you are in the half lotus line. If you're in Sukhasana, just sitting with one foot stacked in front of the other, you won't get quite as much work. All right. Then ease your way from here into a butterfly line, maybe holding onto your feet or onto your ankles, and gently just give me a soft fluttering motion with your knees to relax the groin and the inner thighs. Then stop with your knees heavy to the floor. Think of trying to bring the heels in as close to your perineum as you can. Drop the shoulders away from your ears while binding around either the toes, the feet, or the ankles. Then open up the legs into a wide straddle. From here, if you need to, you can reach for a block and place the block on the floor in front of you. Lean into the block. If you don't need the block, you're going to come into a nice little forward fold, maybe placing your fingertips or your forearms on the mat. If you've got the range of motion, you might splay the elbows wide, stacking one palm on top of the other, and maybe just resting your forehead on the back of your hands. Play with it. See where you need to be. Give me a nice open V through the legs, bracing actively into your feet. And then peel up. Place both hands on the mat behind you. Bend both knees. Place the soles of the feet just on the inside of your mat. And give me a little knee drop side to side. As you drop the knees to one side, you look over the opposite shoulder. Just releasing into the groin area. Give yourself at least 2 or 3 drops. And then sweep the legs underneath you and find your way back into a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Tuck your toes under. Find your way to your down dog frame and hold the stretch. Trying to anchor down through the heels as best you can. Thinking of almost floating your head through your hands as if you wanted to tap your nose to your knees. And then ease your way into a 3-legged dog on the left. Bending the left knee, kicking up the leg behind you. And then swinging that leg through, thinking knee to hip. Rotate the lead leg in and find the angle for your pigeon that works best for you. Relax both the lead leg and the back leg. Then slide, walk, or creep the back leg away and wiggle around until you feel a sense of evenness through the shoulders and the hips. If you find that you are sinking down on your left bum bone, you could take a block and just wedge it underneath your bottom for support. Ease your way onto the forearms, think Sphinx. And then if that feels good, maybe fully extend on the mat. Dropping your third eye to the mat, just draping your arms softly on the mat so that there's no tension in the shoulder. Relax your elbow points, relax your forearms, your wrists, and your palms. Take a few deep breaths here. Looking for that sense of evenness through both the shoulders and the pelvis. Then walk your way back onto the forearms and onto the palms. If you do have a block underneath your bum, feed it out now. Lean all of the weight into your left bum. Look over the right shoulder for that back leg. Swing it around. Aim the foot towards the front corner of your mat. And then place the sole of the left foot on the inseam of the right leg. You're softly going to fold forward, thinking head to knee. You could use that block if you need to, placing it comfortably on the inside of your legs, stacking your forearms and just leaning in. Or you could use a block or a strap to hook around your foot, pull in, resist with the foot. Or if you'd like to play freestyle, maybe reach for the undercarriage of your foot with one or both hands. Find your drape and just give yourself a couple of relaxed inhales and exhales as you think head to knee, Janu Sirsasana. Then softly bleed up. Find your way into easy sit, just tucking the right foot in front of the left. Or if you prefer, you can find a half lotus bind, Ardha Padmasana. Reach for the front foot, take that heel, and try to tuck it on the inside of the corresponding hip bone, just relaxing the top of your foot on that opposite thigh. Sit up nice and tall. Take your right palm, place it on the inside of the right knee, push the knee away, look over the opposite shoulder, and then just play with that movement softly. Every time you push down through the knee, you look over the opposite shoulder, just trying to get the groin and the hip flexor on the right to just relax and begin opening up. Just do that a few times. Then ease your way back to center, placing both sets of fingertips on the mat. Almost think of clawing into the mat like a cat, dragging your weight forward onto the knees, and then softly rocking back. You can just make a little rocking motion, bringing your hands and your knees off the floor at the same time, getting an awesome stretch into the ankle and the foot on the right if you are in the half lotus line. Then ease your way from here into a full butterfly, Baddha Konasana, by bringing the soles of the feet together, knees softly splayed out, binding around the ankles or the feet. And you can give me a slow fluttering butterfly, bringing your knees towards your shoulders and then dropping them away. And then hold your butterfly, trying to bind around the feet, dropping the knees heavy to the floor, lengthen through the spine as best you can. When you're ready, open up into your wide straddle, opening up the legs as wide as you can. And then softly drape yourself forward, maybe creeping onto the hands or the forearms, maybe stacking and coming onto the third eye, or if you need a little bit of an assist, taking 1 or 2 blocks, finding a comfortable stack position and just assisting your fold. Breathe as deeply as you can into the back and the sides of your ribs, and just try to relax into the forward fold. When you're ready to come out of Upavista Konasana, your wide seated straddle, you're going to bleed back up to a high seat, bend the knees, place the soles of the feet on the outer edges of your mat, and just do that little knee drop side to side. As you drop the knees to one side, you look over the opposite shoulder. Just keep the movement flowing and dynamic. Don't be in a rush. Get that release. From here, we're going to find our way into a supine position, and we'll use a little spinal roll to get there. Make sure you've got enough runway behind you. You're going to bend at the ankles, almost thinking of reaching around for the front of your toes and hugging the soles of your feet in towards your bottom, maybe floating your frame just off the mat. Then hollow out your chest, round out your back, roll as far as your shoulder blades and back up, doing maybe 3 rolls like this. And then maybe transitioning from here, uncrossing your feet, tucking into a tight little ball, hovering your feet off the mat if you can, or tapping them to the mat. As you try 3 rolls from this position, make sure you're rounding out your spine and rocking only as far as your shoulder blades, and then back up. If that feels good, maybe start to softly extend the legs, maybe bracing into your feet, giving me a soft little forward fold, and then a mini plow, but keep the knees soft. So you're almost rocking onto the shoulders and tucking the knees in towards your nose. If this feels good, you can maybe start extending the legs and giving me a tap overhead as you roll. Try at least 5 of these, keeping your chin tucked towards your chest. And then maybe using your momentum on the last one to come into a little plow line. Pushing off your elbow points, bringing the legs overhead, parallel to the floor, chin tucked towards the chest. If the plow line is not happening for you, if you find this is too much compression in the neck, just come into a bridge line, bending the knees, connecting the soles of the feet, begin in neutral spine, then tilt the pelvis to the 12 o'clock position, start peeling up, disconnecting your bum from the mat, and coming up nice and high in the bridge line. So pick your poison, either coming into a bridge or finding your way gently into that little plow line that we got to by using that little rocking motion. And then if the plow feels good for you, you can maybe change your leg line, bringing it into a little butterfly line with the soles of the feet together, almost as if you wanted to come up into a shoulder stand, but decided instead to change the leg line. Make sure that you're pushing off your elbow points, supporting your lower back, knees open nice and wide in your little butterfly. Then retrace your path back to your plow line. Roll down slowly, hands down on the floor. Roll down one vertebra at a time, lots of control through the spine and the core. And come straight into a hanging butterfly by bringing the soles of the feet together. Open up the knees, scoop to peel up off the shoulders, reach for your ankles with your hands, wrap your hands around your ankles and hold that little scooped frame on the mat. So your lower back is imprinted, your shoulders are way off the mat. Your core is braced, you're tucking the heels in as close towards the perineum as you can, and you're finding just a comfortable hang position here. Then peel your shoulders back onto the mat. Draw yourself into happy baby, maybe binding from the outside of your foot, tugging down on the undercarriage of your foot. I'm going to exaggerate the movement, but if your tailbone is peeled up off the mat, I'd like you to focus on making your tailbone and your bum heavy to the mat. Maybe you need a couple of side-to-side rocks. And then maybe start experimenting with your hand position, grabbing from the inside, see if you can get more release. So wrapping around the arches of your foot. Make sure the knees are softly splaying around your chest, aiming for your armpit. And then maybe try to change the grip and grab from the ball of your foot. See if you can get more release through the feet, through the inner thighs. Rocking gently, or maybe electing to just hold your happy baby frame steady. Ananda Balasana. Then dropping the arms at your side, bringing the knees together in a tabletop position. If you like, you could even place your palms on your knees. And you're going to trace a little circular pattern with the knees away from each other and towards the center line. Just relaxing your lower back and your sacrum into the mat. Reverse the trace, moving in the opposite direction. Then bring your knees and your feet back to table and T-shape the hands, palms down or up, whichever feels the most intuitive for you. We're going to bring it into a supine twist. Take a big breath in, maybe for a long count of 10. And then for a slow exhale of 10, you're going to drop both knees as far as you can to the left, trying to anchor into the floor if you can, while you look gently in the opposite direction, trying to keep your right shoulder blade connected to the mat. If you need more work, you can maybe reach with your left fingertips for the top knee and just gently pull down. Give me a big inhale for 10 as you slowly, slowly draw the knees back to the midline. Then use a long exhale for 10 as you drop both knees to the right while you look to the left, trying to anchor through that left shoulder, maybe using your right fingertips to reach for the top knee and just gently pull down. Don't force the stretch, just play where you're comfortable. Then ease your way back to the midline, maybe bracing softly around the shins. As you gently cradle rock your lower back out, we're going to find our way into corpse pose, Shavasana from here. Tap your toes to the mat. Gently extend the legs, maybe allowing them to flop out to the side of the room. Arms are at your side, palms looking up to the ceiling. Comfortable neutral spine position. Take a big breath in. And on the inhale, I want you to fist your hands, brace into your feet, tense all of the muscles in your body, even those on your face. So scrunch up your face and make a funny face to the sky. Then on the exhale, bleed all of the tension out of your muscles and give me a soft sigh. Let's do that twice more. On the inhale, tense all the muscles. Tight as a bowstring. On the exhale, sigh and relax. Maybe flopping your head off center to one side. Last time. Tense all of the muscles in your body. On the exhale, sigh, let go. Flop your head to the other side. Then keeping your body soft and relaxed, just gently bring your chin line back to neutral. Make sure you're tipping your chin softly down towards your chest so that you're not straining the back of your neck. And just take a couple of soft, relaxed, languid breaths here. Keeping your whole body and your breath pattern soft, relaxed, released. Think of that sankalpa, that intention that we set at the beginning of the class, to try to use today's class as a little anti-anxiety elixir. Be chilled, be at peace. Namaste to you. Stay on the back for as long as you need to. When you're ready to come out, maybe gently bend your knees, connect the soles of your feet. Roll over onto the side of the body, maybe just finding a soft little fetal tuck, chilling here for a few beats before gently pushing up. Make sure that you bring your head up last. Come to a seated frame before you come to standing. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me today. I do hope that you enjoyed today's class. Give me a thumbs up. If you did enjoy, remember to shoot me your comments below. Make sure your notifications for this channel are always turned on, and be ready for playtime on the mat tomorrow. Till then, keep it light.